Okay. Oh, right. Hopefully I can get this to sync up with my webcam. Yeah. Here's hoping. Anyway, I don't know if you can tell from that screen alone, but this is a 4th gen video, which should probably be in the title. As I said in the past, 4th gen has been, quite pivotal to me and a lot of people, and it is the whole reason this community exists. So, yeah, nice little 4th gen series to pay tribute to it, and I should hopefully be getting some battles against all the greats, and should be grand, and hopefully I can coax Xerxes with some crackers into actually battling, which would be nice. But there you go. Anyway, I was thinking about doing a big grandiose team reveal thing, but I figured I'd shoehorn this in at before I have a battle, which will be against Nick. So let's get started. Yeah. Now, leading off with Celebi, Life Orb Celebi, because as I'm sure if you've watched any of my last 4th gen videos, I've only really been using one team. And that was like Heatran, Licky, Hippo, Bronzong, Starmie, and Celebi. And I'm sorry, but this Life Orb Celebi has just been God. That's it. It's called Life because it's a sort of homage to Hacked Glitch's old Celebi, which traumatized me ever so much. And that was truly a evil Celebi, so I figured I'd pay tribute to it. And yeah, this is pretty much the one Pokemon that's copied wholesale from that team. I just put a name on it because, like I say, Stealth Rock, Seed Bomb, Sucker Punch, U-Turn. It's brilliant. And the Celebi that was given to me, I will definitely be trying to put into a 6th gen team. I don't think it'll work. I have massive reservations about it working. Just because, like I say, it works in 4th gen, but 6th gen is an entirely different kettle of fish, so I'm not entirely sure, but it deserves a place somewhere. So, that's the start of it. Second off is, Licky, because, dear Jesus. As I said before, long ago, and probably numerous times, Licky is my favourite Pokemon. Now, I know a lot of people have much hate for Licky, because it's sort of like, what was the point of evolving Lickitung into this? It just looks, obese and dumb, and it has a short tongue and little quiff. But when I look at Licky, I think it looks cheeky chips lovable. If they ever do any of those, any more Pokemon episodes where the Pokemon, talk, like they did in, the first season that one time, I'd imagine Licky talking in a cheeky Cockney accent and having a little trilby. That's just what I see when I look at old Licky. He looks so cheeky chips lovable, and I could just see him being that, and it would be awesome, and I would love it. And it would just make me happy. So yeah, pretty much it's just a Boggo standard Life Orb set, because another reason I really like Licky, apart from him being just absolutely fucking adorable, is he's got probably one of the, in my mind, one of the most varied and interesting move pools and stats combined together. So in theory, Licky can do just about damn near anything, really, if you really wanted to push it. I mean, I think the thing that annoys me so much is he's always used as a Wish and Heal Bell guy because of that one event thing he got long ago. But he's so much more than that. You can put him on weather teams, and he can do that. Own Tempo as well, the 6th gen blocks Taunt. No, actually, no, wait, no, that's Oblivious. I think, I'm trying to remember if he gets Oblivious or not. But, Own Tempo is still good, and you can he can make Banded sets. He can do all kinds of things, special sex mix sets. I think I said special sex there. He can do curse sets, belly drum set. He can do so many things that he's just amazing. And I will always love him. And yeah, that's what I was getting at. Own Tempo in 6th gen, Swagger being banned. Are you fucking serious? Alright, if Swagger Klefki is that much of a problem, Licky. Honestly. Yeah, he's still going to be able to foul play you, but +2 Fire Punch, Klefki isn't going to like that much either. How hard can it possibly be to just put there's tons of shit that gets Own Tempo. So yeah, even Licky Licky has its own niche in 6th gen, just no one wants to use it because they're gibbering tits. It's like, oh, Swagger's so OP. It's like, no, it's not. Knockoff is worse than Swagger. I don't think either should be banned. But yeah, so that's why Licky's there. Again, cheeky chips, lovable, brilliant base stats, brilliant move pool combined together to pretty much give you a lovable Pokemon that really should wear a trilby or anything like Top Hat. And yeah, he's get a great Pokemon. So that's why he's there. Now next is Dave, because, oh, Dave. Like I said, when I was building this team, what I wanted was a mix of guys that I felt were relevant to 4th gen, and a mix of sets and Pokemon that, you know, were really cool and awesome and I loved over my time of playing. And Dave was one of them. Dave was just up there. When I used a sub, what was it, oh fucking hell, is it Pataya Berry that boosted special attack? Can't remember. It was like sub Pataya with Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt and Hidden Power Flying. Dave was a beast, and Dave will always be a beast. This is kind of an interesting set. The Life Orb Mix Licky's got EQ, Fire Blast, Ice Beam and Explosion. Dave, for his grand finale of 4th gen, has got Endure, Explosion, Shadow Ball and Thunderbolt with a Lychee Berry. So you can endure down, get the Lychee boost, get the Unburden boost, outspeed just about anything. And then, you know, when something comes in you can't kill, you blow up. So, yeah. And Shadow Ball is great because it coxblocks most ghosts. So, that's grand, and that's why Dave's there. Dave's just awesome. It was easily one of the favourite Pokemon I used. Next, we got Heatran, because, for me, 4th gen was kind of Heatran's game. Like, you probably won't agree with that one. You might be like, oh, what about Bliss, or Scarm, you know, or Noir, Zapdos, that kind of shtick. But for me, it was pretty much Heatran. I mean, with the big nasties like Chompy and Mence banned to Ubers because some bizarro, insane person was like, oh, it's too good, or Sandvale or something stupid, I don't fucking know. You know, it was kind of, Heatran had pretty much free reign, and he was really, really, really good. He could do the Torment set, God, oh, fuck the Tormentran, man. Fuck the Tormentran. So yeah, I always felt that 4th gen was kind of Heatran's gig. Like, he kind of, not completely owned it, but he dominated a lot of 4th gen. And when you consider that nowadays, he can get beaten out by either Charizard X or Y, because Y runs EQ sometimes. Heatran getting beaten by Zard in its own right sounds odd. But not only Zard, it can get 2-KO'd by a +2 fucking Talonflame. And people are starting to run Ancient Power to deal with it. That just smacks as wrong to me. Heatran was, while it was boring, and while I hated him for a lot of my 5th gen time, he was always really fucking good. So it's kind of slightly insulting that he's now being beaten down by 2 guys that are weak to Stealth Rocks. And Fire. It just seems odd to me. But there you go. So that's kind of why he's there. I just always felt that he owned 4th gen in his own way. Moving on. We got Dragonite. Now you may be thinking, what the fuck is Dragonite doing here? You know, it wasn't particularly special to 4th gen. I didn't really, I'd never really had a Dragonite set that I enjoyed apart from the 5th gen one with normal gem extreme speed. So what's he doing here? Well, I look at Dragonite now, and I feel sad, because all Dragonite is these days is DD, multi-scale, weakness policy. Whereas back in the day, damn, you know, bulky D-Knight, does anyone remember or even have knowledge of bulky D-Knight? You don't need bulky D-Knight anymore, because multi-scale does that for you. And weakness policy will give you an immediate +2 because you hold up your everything-proof shield card. So, I wanted to give Dragonite a last chance to shine as a bulky piece of awesomeness before he gets swallowed into the yawning black chasm of just multi-scale, bollocky, single-set wank. I mean, there's always gonna be, you know, the special sets and the Dragon Tail sets and the sub T-Wave, I hope it's killed in a fire, Dragonite, but bulky D-Knight is long lost to the world. And I believe that it was good. And, you know, the classic Yachi Berry, it was just brilliant. Now, the last one was an interesting pick. You may be thinking, well, it's Terry. It's like, well, no, Terry's not in this team. Because Terry will always be there. Terry was very significant to me in 4th gen and the series that the last Pokemon came from. Because he was amazing. He hit more dynamic punches than gunk shots. and he just kicked butt, and Terry was the beast, and he is a god, and he always will be a god. The thing is, I got him on 6th gen thanks to Ludwig. I've got my banded set, or I can make him life or whatever. I can breed my own Terry. So I've got a lot of Terry, and there's going to be plenty of Terry for the whole of 6th gen. He's not going to be missed. He will always be there because Terry is awesome. Whereas this guy, well, what I actually had to do was I had to, sort of perform some rituals, sacrifice some lambs, give part of my soul to Terry to bring this guy back from the burning hell he was sent to. Yes, it's Mr. Bean. An iffy choice, to be certain, but I was sort of like, after, I think it was 2 years, 3 years since I did my my mainly good Christmas special that I actually enjoyed. I felt Mr. Bean needed one last chance. So, like I say, I called him up from the fiery hell I sent him to, and yeah, I've changed his set a bit. It's DD, Bounce, Waterfall, and EQ, with a life orb, because the one thing that Mr. Bean always loved to do, in his psychotic way, was barely fail to kill things. So, life orb should hopefully rectify that problem. Hopefully. In theory. And, yeah. But if you go watch the last battle, I think it was against Malice for that Christmas special, Mr. Bean does something incredibly spectacular against a fortress, which led to his burning. So yeah, Mr. Bean is going to get one last chance to redeem himself in 4th gen. And then, if he doesn't, I don't know. I haven't got any more games to burn, unfortunately. I just don't. And I'm sure a couple of you probably think, it's like, why did you burn your game with Mr. Bean on it? Why didn't you just get some stupid fire effects and have Mr. Bean burn? He's like, no, he pissed me off that much. I must have lost at least 3 or 4 games just because Mr. Bean was so unbelievably shit, or got so unbelievably close to killing something, and then died. He literally annoyed me that much that I burnt my platinum. And it was so worth it, just to burn some pixels and 1s and 0s. You have no idea. So yeah, that's the team. So, it hasn't, I think the main thing, Heatran kind of keeps the team together, as Heatran usually does. But other than that, we've got a couple of exploding guys, we've got a Celebi who can kick some butt, we've got the novelty in Mr. Bean who'll fucking fail me in his psychotic manner. If you're wondering why I called him Mr. Bean, look at those eyes, and then go find a picture of Mr. Bean, and then, yeah. Alright. Mr. Bean always had that troll face, Wizcash has got a troll face. Oh. So yeah, I kind of picked these guys just because they're sort of what I wanted to use, and what I felt, kind of suited 4th gen. And I needed at least a couple of exploding guys, just because I miss explosion. Alright? Maybe it seemed fair to lower its power a bit, and whatever, fuck it. It's something that they did, but explosion was really good, because it could change the entire game in one go. It could keep the pace of the game up. If you had an exploding guy, you very, very rarely got into stall, because explosion is going to either force something out, in which case you can predict that and kill something, or it's going to completely obliterate whatever the fuck is in your way. And that's just kind of lost now. There are some ludicrously powerful guys that can kind of achieve the same effect, but explosion was always just a sort of single purpose, we're going to completely flip the match on its head kind of thing. And that is just missed, so an homage to explosion, sort of a little last hurrah for Mr. Bean, and yeah, a sort of last hurrah for Dragonite as well. As I said before, it's swallowed by the yawning black chasm of obscurity that is pointless multi-scale weakness policy dribble, really. Poor Dragonite. He was so much more than that. He was so much more than that. Oh well. Anyway, yeah, waffled on for 15 minutes. I wanted this to be a quick thing, but I kind of got absorbed into it and enjoyed myself, so yeah. We will cut over to the battle with Nick, with the power of editing! Alright, yeah. So this is the battle against Nick, and I felt it was a jolly good one. So you lead out Machamp, I lead out with Celebi, because, yeah, and he switches out predicting, I suppose, the Psychic. I'm just going to go straight for Stealth Rocks as he goes into his Sableye. Now I go a U-turn, and it kicks the crap out of that Sableye. So I'm imagining it's a specially defensive set. Also, Sableye, 4th gen, awesome. None of that prankster bullshit. That thing gets, it's that ability that makes it go last all the time. He's also got some knockoff, which that 20 base power knockoff, man. Jesus. Anyway, I've got a Taunt, Wisp, Flamethrower, Earth Power, Trance, so I just go straight in for a Taunt. And I stop old Slugworth in his tracks. The Celebi switch was really fucking obvious, and I get that. But Celebi is so bulky and Gastro's so sluggy that I was like, meh, Celebi alright. So I go for a Seed Bomb hit as he goes back into Sableye, and holy crapping Christ, really? Celebi just kicks its arse in. And I was like, God bless you, Celebi. So I just go for a U-turn so I can go into something a bit more favourable, I suppose, i.e. Dave. Because I figured, you know, I get a free switch in, I'm at max health, I'll be alright. And he's going to go into his Miltank. Now, he does reveal later that this is a Scarfed Miltank, which is pretty awesome. So he's going to go for a Frustration with the Scrappy. I figured Dave could take one of whatever, because he's Dave. And I'm just going for a T-Bolt and get a bit of damage. Here I go for the Endure to get the Leechy and the Unburden boost. I think it would actually be quite close. I don't know what... I know Miltank's got a surprising amount of speed. I always think it's really slow because it's a fucking cow, but it's actually surprisingly quick. I don't know how close it would have been, but I think Dave gets like 500 and something speed after Unburden, so it would have been fairly close, but he wasn't sure he'd outspeed, so he's going to go into Machamp, and I explode. So go Dave with that Leechy boost. Machamp ain't got nothing on you. So now I'm going to go back into Celebi because it seemed like a reasonable, you know, starting point, and I can Seed Bomb stuff. So he's going to go into Zapdos. Here, I'm trying to see if it's either got Heat Wave or Hidden Power Grass. Most of them will carry Grass over Ice, or they did back in the day. Oh, wait, it's kind of iffy. It's either yeah. But he's either got that or he's got Heat Wave. He goes Discharge there. That kind of says to me Hidden Power, so I was like, okay, I don't really want to go into the Beaninator just yet. So I Sucker Punch, get a bit more damage, and that's grand, really. So his Zapdos is doing alright. And I'm going to go into Licky. He's going to go for a Roost. I really wish I predicted that and gone Earthquake, because that would have been sick. But I didn't. But I'm going to go for an Ice Beam. It still does quite a lot, so he's obviously a physically defensive Zapdos. And here I predict the Roost again, because I didn't think he'd want to take an Ice Beam, seeing how much the last one did. But he goes straight for a Discharge. And I'm like, alright, you know what? I have a Licky. I don't need to dick around with you. You can discharge me all you want. If you'd have gotten a crit there, I would have been fucking livid, by the way. But I don't care. I explode, he dies. The end. Licky is gone. He did say he was planning on bringing a second ghost, and I was like, damn, if you did, Dave would have looked like a tit. But thankfully, he didn't, so that was alright. Yeah, so Licky and Dave have exploded on things, and I'm going to go into Heatran. Now, here, I'm just going to sack Heatran. He did say maybe I should put Explosion on Heatran and just have Lava Plume over Flamethrower, which I'm quite tempted to do now. It would be pretty awesome. But, I knew I could take an Earth Power, so I can go for a Taunt, stop him from recovering or using Toxic or whatever, and then I can go for a Wisp, get a burn, get a bit of damage to whittle it down, and then I can go into Mr. Bean. And Mr. Bean should do things. Because he can't recover, he can't Toxic, Mr. Bean's got an okay amount of bulk, so I go for a DD. He goes for an Earth Power, and to Mr. Bean's credit, it doesn't actually do that much. But he gets a special defense drop. And I'm just like, are you fucking serious, Mr. Bean? Your first battle back after 2 years of being in hell, and you get a special defense drop. So after that, I think, okay, I could DD again. I should DD again, but I kind of have to go for it. And I don't kill. He goes Earth Power, and it knocks me down to where Life Orb will kill me. I'm like, thank you, Mr. Bean. Thank you. Thank you so much. You fucking asshole. So, Mr. Bean's going to kill himself. God damn it, Mr. Bean. And I go into my bulky D-Knight, and here's where I see his Miltank is scarfed. I go for 2 DDs here, because I was fucking scared shitless. Because if I went DD and whatever he had was scarfed, bulky Dragonite wouldn't outspeed it. So, I go for the 2 DDs, bulky D-Knight, tanks 2 frustrations, and then I clean up. He did have a Kingdra left, and had he brought the Kingdra in after Mr. Bean went down, he'd have won. That was it. It was done. D-Knight's bulky, he ain't that bulky. But he didn't. He brought in Miltank, and that was that. So, great game, Nick, and like I say, after having to try and finagle my way through sorting out my BST team, and I've eventually gone with Fletchinder, it was nice to just have some nice, explodey fun. So I hope you all enjoyed. God bless you, 4th Gen, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Peace.